Alright guys, so today we're going to work on solving story problems. Your objective for this lesson is you will solve addition and subtraction number problems. So when we're working with story problems, there's kind of a guide to helping us solve these story problems. The first thing we want to do is we kind of want to understand what the problem is asking. So we want to read the problem and kind of figure out what do you want to find out and what do you know and what information do you need to solve the problem. Sometimes story problems might give us information that either is too much information or not enough. So we really need to figure out if all the information is there in order for us to solve. But the next thing we need to do is we need to come up with a plan as to how you need to solve the problem. So we need to figure out if there's like a pattern you can use. Maybe you want to draw a picture or a diagram. Maybe you want to write out a number sentence or a number model for it, or even make a table. We need to come up with some sort of plan as to how we're going to solve it. Then, once we have our plan, we need to carry out our plan, meaning we actually need to decide what we're going to do and we need to solve the problem. Usually making some sort of a written record, so writing down like how we are solving it, and then coming up with an answer to the question that is being asked. And then finally, when we have our answer, we need to look back at our work and make sure that does the answer we have make sense for the problem? And if not, then we need to double check our work and maybe go back and have a different plan and carry out a different plan in order to get an answer that does make sense. So let's look at our sample problem for today. So Leon traveled from Colorado to Maine. He traveled 586 miles on Monday, 487 miles on Tuesday, 630 miles on Wednesday, and 373 miles on Thursday. How many total miles did he travel? And actually, I realized I forgot to put a question mark there. So what I would like you to do is in your thinking notebook, I want you to write this down, this whole problem, okay, the whole problem down. And I want you to solve it, thinking about what is the problem asking us? And what is your plan going to be to solve it? And what information are we given? What numbers are we given to work with? And what are we trying to find out? So pause the video at this time and write down this problem and then trying to come up with what is your plan for solving this particular problem. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm solving a problem is I always like to make sure I know exactly what they're asking me to do. So I always go back and I look and kind of highlight what exactly is the problem asking me to do. And in this one it says, how many total miles is he traveling? And usually when it says how many total, that means it's going to be an addition problem. That is a word for addition. So I'm going to have to add something up. And if I look back at my problem, it looks like it wants me to add up how many miles he has traveled. So on Monday, he traveled 586. On Tuesday, he traveled 487. On Wednesday, he traveled 630. And on Thursday, 373, excuse me. So I would add those up. Alright, so we're going to add all those numbers up. So I know that 6 and 3 is going to get me to 9, plus 7 is going to get me to 16. Carry my 1. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 1 more was 17. 18, 19, 20, plus that 7 is going to be 27. And then 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 6 would be 16, plus 4 more would be 20. So my answer that I got is he would travel 2,076 miles. It's really important that if it's a story problem, you're probably going to have a unit that you need to put after the number, specifying what you're talking about. And on here, it asked me how many miles he traveled. I know that this unit should be miles. So after my number for my answer, I should write down that it's miles. That's really, really important. All right. That is the example for this lesson. Now I'd like you to grab your note card and give it a try. I know I only had one question for you to give an example for today, because I want to see how you do just with one, because I'm wondering if this is something maybe you kind of touched on in 3rd grade, and this is just a review. If I look at the note cards and I see we need more practice, then we'll do more practice when you work with me in your groups. So your problem on your note card is Carly's goal is to run 30 miles every week. So far this week, she's gone for a 6-mile run, a 4-mile run, a 7-mile run, and a 5-mile run. How much more does she need to run to meet her goal? You don't have to write the problem down, but you do need to write or show me a strategy. Okay, that's really important. Show me a strategy for solving this. And after you finish this, put it in the binder, and then you can begin your homework for tonight, which is already in the bin. And that completes today's lesson.